off the light again. I'm kind of I'm trying to figure out what lighting I want, and it's just not. It's just so. Anyway. Glasses, no glasses. So, what I have in here. I don't know how to explain without being depressing. I'm trying to show it to you without showing my medical information, and it's probably backwards. So that says calcifications of 4.2 centimeters and ductal breast cancer. Those are my results from my yearly mammogram. For those of you who don't know me, I am 3 years in remission, or I guess I was 3 years in remission from early onset breast cancer, which I was diagnosed with when I was 22 in 2022. So essentially this means that it's back. And I know it's probably strange to see me so matter of fact or so well composed. I don't know. I don't have time to psychoanalyze myself right now and explain why that's the case. Some of you are cancer survivors yourself or know people who've been affected, or but it's honestly it's familiar territory to me at this point, and it's always kind of there in the back of your head, as shocking as it is. And like, it is bad news, don't get me wrong, but it's also, I won't say it's also good news. I'd rather not be sitting here having to telling this story, but I will be okay, as far as I know. I found out 2 days ago. I found out yesterday. I don't know. Time is all mixed up. So what's the plan? So I should probably start with the story from start to finish. So the routine mammogram. Went in as normal from an abnormal situation. I've had them before. They're unpleasant, but they are what they are. And more or less just said, oh, I'm just gonna go out and have a look at it on a bigger screen if that's okay. And I'm not sure if I'd heard that, like, if that's a very regular thing, but it was a bit suspicious. Let's just put it that way. I mean, as women, we're taught, like, you know, your anxiety. And I just, you know, you always want to try not to be paranoid, all this kind of stuff. But I also was sitting there like, sorry, that's my mum. Like, I don't like this. I don't exactly remember how she put it, but she said there's calcifications and more or less like that there were changes there that they didn't see last time, and they did an ultrasound that day. She was lovely. She said, you know, you're coming from a place that's an hour away, and otherwise you'd have to wait and you'd be coming up again and whatever. Took a biopsy. My favourite word. And I knew going home, it's 50-50. It's either going to show something or it's not. And like, we, again, familiar territory, we've been there as a family, like we all know. They told me it might be the end of the week, for I know. And I got a phone call then the following day saying they wanted to see me the following Wednesday with my results, which, I mean, at the start I was kind of like they could have called me up the following day, which would have been Friday, having got the biopsy done on Wednesday. And I'm kind of wiser to the fact that you don't just, like, we don't know, and there's no point in saying this is the way it's going to be either way, like, oh god, it's doom and gloom, or oh, we'll be fine. There's no point in committing to either of those. So today is Thursday. Oh, I don't. We were called Wednesday, so, and that's what they told me. This mostly precancerous cells. Calcifications are kind of like, it's a vague term, but it's like hardening, and sometimes like little bits of salt is the only other way of explaining it. But within those tissue samples, this is where it's tough because it's trauma. Within those tissue samples, there were cancer cells found. And that's the thing, in the media and film, whatever, when cancer is being portrayed, they don't, it's always, oh, it's cancer, you know, or like that's the way it's told, but that's not usually the way you're told in real life. The last time that's how it was put to me. Not you have cancer. It's there were cancer cells in your biopsy results. I mean, it's the same thing. You might as well just tell me I have cancer. So my feelings right now, I hate to say that I'm flippant about the whole thing, but it's like, what else are you going to tell me? Like, you know, I've been through it, and can't get much worse, really. But they haven't told me I'm dying. Hoping that it can be treated entirely by surgical means, and I won't have to do chemotherapy this time. And again, for those of you who don't know me, I've done rounds of chemotherapy. I've done 6 in total. I've done immunotherapy, Herceptin, injections into the thigh, 17 of them, surgery, partial mastectomy, I can't remember, just a nipple removal. I don't have a nipple on the right side. Radiotherapy. I've done the whole 9 yards. I'm still on hormone treatment, which is a pill once a day, until 2029. I don't know how that's going to change now, but basically I've been through a lot in terms of treatment. This time around, it seems to be surgically. That's the modus operandi. Because there is no tumour, and there's nothing to shrink from chemotherapy, so they're hoping to just go in and remove it all. So that means a complete mastectomy on that side, which, like, to anyone, they'd be saying, oh god, that's devastating, and it's extensive. And don't get me wrong, I don't mean to downplay how serious that operation is, but also I have been calling for that since the day I learned that my boobs were trying to kill me. But I know it would be considered medical malpractice if they just went in and like took them, I guess. So it's depressing, it's disappointing, and I think like my consultant kind of made it clear that he was very disappointed. At the same time, he's not going to be jumping and dancing and being like, woohoo, your cancer's back. And we're not either. It's just kind of like my knee-jerk reaction is and also there's the whole thing that the mastectomy, so you can have a mastectomy with full and instant reconstruction, which would be done all in the one day, where they go in, they take out the breast and they reconstruct and whatever on the same day in the same surgery. And they take fat from your stomach to do that reconstruction, so I'm technically getting a free tummy tuck. So there's that. Obviously, look, this is just me trying to take positives from a really shitty situation, but I feel downtrodden is the way to put it, but I also feel okay and calm, and it's probably the first time I've ever actually been able to practice radical acceptance and feel like it's worked, because the old me would obviously be falling apart right now, and entirely valid. I just a part of me is sick of crying about it and sick of like giving it the airtime in that sense of like, oh, my life is ruined and oh, I'm so young and oh, it's horrible. It is, but also like I have shit to do. I have stuff that I need to do. Life goes on. I'm so used to things going tits up for me. Sorry, that's a pun. Like, oh, that's cool. I mean, typical. And just return to doing what I want to do, which is actually currently right now setting up to draw a portrait of my pet dog that passed. So she would have been a childhood dog. It's supposed to be secret for her birthday, my mom's birthday. So I'm just sitting down to do that. It does feel a lot different to when I was first diagnosed. When I was first diagnosed, I wanted to unalive myself rather than deal with all of that. There was a lot of emotions. This time it's just, it feels like unfinished business in a way that's, I don't know, like a John Wick sequel where you know he's going to win at the end. I hope. And it just confirms for me that the ambassadorship, the advocacy, the PR stuff, the media communication stuff was meant for me. It's part of my life. It's what I was meant to do. Like I was meant to talk about this. I was meant to spread awareness on this, and I was never meant to suffer this behind closed doors, where like, you know, like when you go out to the top and everybody's like, oh god, it's her, and like, oh, and I know the intentions are well, but it's like, oh, and like, that's Ginny, and it's you know, her cancer's back, and like her poor mother, and all this, and that probably still will go on. But I was not meant to sit there and let those people be the representation of this story and represent that story. I was meant to tell it as it is, no frills, no flounces, within reason and with self-respect. And that's why I'm videoing this. That's why I'm being so open about this, because who cares, like, what people, there's some, I don't know, maybe I'm reading or making this up, I don't know. There's bound to be some people to be like, why is she talking about that? Why is she like putting all that information out there? Like, oh, she should be careful and oh, this, that, and the other. But like, first of all, those people have absolutely no right to tell me how I should be dealing with this. It's my story, that putting it blankly, and it's going to be out there anyway, in like the whispering circles of the rural Irish gossip societies and just that whole thing. So why not make it my own? Why not try and get something good out of it? Why not educate people? And that's where positivity can be found, and that's where power can be taken back and control. So I'm going to try and use the skills I'm learning in my master's degree, the skills I've always had to tell my story and to reach people that need to hear it, or just even make friends. I don't know, just get something other than suffering and trauma out of an experience like this. And that's another thing that's different about this time around. I've built my network of cancer survivors and cancer patients and their families, or people even that haven't been affected by this disease, who have the empathy to sit and listen, to interact, to just empathize with us. And that will make me stronger this time around. That will, and it has already. I know what to do, as sad as that is, but I do. And what is that? I suppose it's just do what you bloody want. Do, like, be unapologetically yourself. And unfortunately, it's kind of sad that I've more or less had to get cancer, or like I've had to have this thing landed on me for me to finally be able to say to myself, who cares what people think? Like, who cares? Just do what you want, because life is so short. It really is. And I'm not dying. Let me just be clear. This isn't like a thing that, oh God, like, it's curtains. Thankfully, I know that's other people, plenty of other people have had that news delivered to them, and they do every single day. And until such is the time that I'm told that, I'm very well not even going to think about that. So I've been told I can more or less continue with life the way that it is. I can still do my master's degree. They're hopeful I'll be able to complete it. And yes, I'll need some extensions, but I'm sure that'll be fine. The surgery will be extensive. It'll be hard. But I have a good support system. I have a good thing going at home, that I know that I'll be able to lean on people. And I'll be able to get as much positive as I'll be able to get. If there's something positive to be gotten from this, I'm going to try and take it while I can, and as it is. So yeah, it is what it is, and I'll be fine. I will be fine. And if I want to hug my teddy, I bloody well will do it. I don't care. I know I'm 25. I know. And it's probably weird to some judgmental people, but if I need to bring him with me just to be able to get through cannulation. And to be honest, I don't know, like, this isn't even my favourite teddy, but anyway. Now is the point where I'm rambling, so I'm just going to close this off by saying, I got this. We got this. And I'm ready. I'm ready. Just ready to take this on. And I'm in a good, strong mindset to do so, even if you see me crying tomorrow. And this isn't the end for me, thankfully. And you will hear more from me. So, thanks for listening, and sorry for upsetting anyone, or like, that's the hardest part. I hate giving bad news. But don't despair. It will be okay. Thanks. Love ya. Bye.